Damn, brave shit.
Yeah.
We are live, folks. Welcome to a live UFC prediction segment here. Tonight we're going to discuss UFC Fight Night, Sean Strickland versus Fluffy Hernandez. It's going to be a crazy event, and I'm pretty excited about it. All right, I'm pretty excited. We have a lot of fights on this card, and it's going to be a good one. So I wanted to come live and share these picks that I got for this fight night. But before, I just want to dive into a little bit of news updates for MMA. So you probably may have heard already, we got Ronda Rousey versus Carano on May 16 on Netflix. I just wanted to give you my opinion on this fight because it's not necessarily about the fight itself. It's about the power play that Netflix is doing right now. Guys, Netflix has a lot of subscribers. Okay? So, it's very important to understand that the competition that UFC may have here is going to be like, it's not starting from, Bellator. It's not the Bellators or the PFLs. No, it's Netflix we're talking about. They already have the numbers. They already have the subscribers. So when you're talking about competitors, it's going to be very easy for them to pick fighters, and in this case, they're working with MVP, as a promoter, and they're closing the deal that way. But honestly, they can do it themselves. Like, they've done movie themselves. They have created their own TV series, right? So why not get their own fighters? They could, if they see big numbers in this, they could do it. They could do something very similar to what Red Bull does. Like, they sign people, to be the face of the brand, that kind of stuff. But think about it. They could really start their own fight thing. They could do their own MMA, their own boxing, and then we have more options. We get Zuffa boxing. We get Netflix boxing, right? We get UFC. We get Bellator. We get PFL. We get Netflix MMA or something like that. And they got deep pockets too. So I don't know. It's not a far-fetched idea that I'm presenting to you right now, but think about it. They could literally sign anybody, and get them a big deal. Francis Ngannou is coming out of contract pretty soon, so hey, why not snatch Francis? Sign Francis for let's say a 360 deal, MMA, boxing, and grappling, or wrestling or something like that. Anyways, they could do it. They could totally do it, and they're trying out MMA right now with this Ronda Rousey fight, which is a big fight. Okay, Ronda Rousey coming out of retirement. Now, mind you, this she was like the face of MMA, and they're gonna get a lot of viewers. I can guarantee you, everybody is going to tune in to see what's gonna happen. Okay, this is MMA, so it's not gonna be boring. Like, it's not one of those things where you have to stay up all night, wait close to like 11, and then see a boring fight that you wish you never stayed up. You could have gone to bed a long time ago. This is the kind of stuff that happened in boxing that drives me nuts, especially these Jake Paul's type of fight, that you think something is happening, and then it's like, why did I waste my time? Why did I waste my time doing this? So, this is going to be a great fight, okay? Ronda Rousey, her record is 12-1. she retired in 2016 after back-to-back losses. Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes, the GOAT, basically retired her. And, she's been training, and, she's been posting stuff on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So, she's coming back. And Gina Carano, she's 7-1. I personally haven't seen any videos or anything to make a judgment. But she still got it, according to these news articles. She still got it. All right, so that is going down. I just wanted to bring that up because that is going to be a massive thing. A massive, massive thing. So look out for that. All right, well, let's get into fight prediction mode. This weekend, tomorrow, we have Sean Strickland versus Fluffy Hernandez. And guys, this is going to be a great, great fight and a great card because we got lots of people fighting on this card. And, let's get into fight prediction mode. All right. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to log into my account on ultimatefightpicks.com. Okay, go there, sign up, ultimatefightpicks.com, and you're going to see the event there. I'm just bringing it up on the screen here because we're going to start from the bottom of this card here, okay, the early prelims, and we're going to go all the way up to the main card. All right, so we're going to start with this one. I'm trying to take a look here. Actually, let's start with the prelims. So we have Philip Rowe against Jean-Paul Leboznoyani. Okay, I am going to pronounce these names wrong. I'm going to tell you that right now in advance so you know. All right, Philip Rowe. I really like Philip Rowe. He has great jiu-jitsu. He's very entertaining and he has good hands. Okay, this is a welterweight bout, and Philip is 11-6 right now. Okay, and Jean-Paul is 9-2. All right, so we have a good matchup coming, and I'm going to pick Philip to win this match. Okay, this is welterweight, so I'm gonna select Philip right now, and I'm going to save this thing, so just in case something happened, it's saved, it's locked in. All right, as you can see, you can submit your picks after you're done, but I want to make sure I make the right move here. Okay, then we have Nora versus Jocelyn Edwards. Nora is 9-3. Jocelyn Edwards is 14-6. I'm going to pick Jocelyn because she's the most experienced one of the two. Okay, so I'm picking Jocelyn for the win against Nora. Then we have Alden Correa versus Louise Guruli, one of the two. Anyways, Alden is 11-3 and Louise is 10-2. All right, this is actually a great matchup. I'm very excited to see what these guys bring to the table here. So yeah, don't miss out on this fight here. This is gonna be a good fight. I am picking Louise to win this fight. Okay, I think it's gonna go by decision. All right, this is gonna go by decision. All right, next we have Ode Osborne versus Alibi. Ode is 13-9 and Alibi is 11-2. I just want to pull up their age here. Ode is 34. Alibi is 31. Ode has the longer reach. Ode's last fight, all right, was last year where he won by it says here he won by KO round 2 against Louise. Oh, something must not be right here. Maybe they're fighting again, or this information online is not correct. No, it is correct actually. Yeah, Ode fought Luis. So Ode fought Luis before, and he beat him by KO in round 2. Ode before that lost against Steve by decision, and before that he lost as well. So he's basically coming off a 1-win streak to face Alibi. Let's just take a quick look on Alibi's record here. All right, Alibi is, he looks like, I just want to see who he beat last. Actually, a KO, actually. He won via KO. No, actually, he lost. I'm lying to you. He lost. His last fight was August 16, and he lost versus Joseph Morales. And yeah, he lost by triangle choke round 2 at 3 minutes into round 2. So, but all his wins are pretty good wins, decision, TKO. So, looking at this fight, I'm going to pick Alibi because, when you have just one loss on your record, you are going to do your very best to train hard, because you don't want that domino effect of losses to start kicking in. Okay. So I'm picking Alibi to win. Uh-oh. All right, so let's talk about Chidi Jokwani versus Carlos Leal. Okay. These guys have a higher record. So we had Chidi 25-11 and Carlos 22-7. All right. So this is also going to be a good fight. I think for this one, I'm going to pick Carlos. To win this fight. I'm going to just take a quick look who Carlos fought last, because that's always important when you're doing your picks. Not that I'm like some sort of professional, but let's take a look at Carlos here. And, I wanted to point out there's a lot of welterweight matches. Lots. Okay? I think they're trying to clean house. Clean the welterweight division and making it great again. I think they're trying to clean it, or they're trying to shuffle the cards, or whatever it is. But as I look at Carlos' last fight, Carlos lost his last fight by KO. Okay. Before that, he had a win and then a loss again. So his record is not crazy, but I believe he's going to beat Chidi, and that probably will happen by decision, because if you look at their stats, they're not too far off, to be honest. They're not too far off. Okay. Next, we have Michel Pereira versus Zachary Reese. Now, I don't know if you're looking at this, but check this out. Michel Pereira has 31 wins, 14 losses. Zachary Reese has 10 wins and 2 losses. Well, I'm going to tell you, Zachary is going to get his third loss right now tomorrow. Okay? And I'll tell you why. Because Michel Pereira is no joke. Okay, and if you fight Michel Pereira, you need to be used to the weird stuff that this man is doing. Okay, he does a lot of weird stuff, and you can't just go in there thinking that you're going to beat him. You have to be prepared. And Michel is he's amazing. He's amazing. I like his style, and he's definitely going to get the win. I feel like his last fights were pretty entertaining. to say the least. Let me just pull up his information here. And yeah, Michel Pereira, last, 3 fights. Okay. I always like to look at the last 3 fights to see what they're working with. Okay. So right here, he has 3 losses. So I'm telling you, he's gonna come in and he's going to do what he has to do. The last 3 people that he fought were no joke either. Like, he fought Fluffy, who was fighting in the main card. He lost by KO. Then he fought Magomedov. Okay, he lost by unanimous decision. And then Dawkins, he lost by KO round 1. So I think when you're on a 3 fight streak losses here, you're going to do your best, because you sort of start sliding even more. UFC at this point, probably they're looking at him. They're looking and saying, okay, is it time to cut him? Or should we let him, if he loses again, should we let him, do another fight? Because if you actually look at his record, he has 8 wins, 8 straight wins from 2020 all the way to 2024. Okay. And that's a long win streak. So 3 losses here, it's not crazy. Like, he can bounce from this stuff. And he fought some killers too. So I think Michel Pereira is going to make it happen. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one here, we got Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. Okay. I think this fight was put last minute because Jacoby had another opponent. And I'm going to find that opponent name for you. Jacoby Smith was supposed to fight Ko Jong Haejong. Sorry guys, I'm telling you, like, these names, Seok Haeyong. Yeah, Seok. I don't know what happened, but this fight was canceled, and Josiah Harrell is coming in. Josiah has an interesting story. He's 11. They both have the exact same record, actually. 11 wins. So somebody is going to lose, and we don't know who that is. But Josiah had some time off. I think he was dealing with some sort of brain serious situation here with some brain injury or something like that. That he was off for I think 3 years or so. Okay, you can Google this stuff. I'm not 100% correct. But, doing that and coming back to the UFC is, I'm not sure. It's kind of like, it's risky, right? It's risky. But, one quote that I really like that he has said in the press, he said, quote, "I don't know about extra pressure. Some people are scared to die, I guess. If I do, then I get to be with the Lord," Harrell told reporters, including Cage Side Press, on Wednesday. So he's not worried about dying. He says, "I'm not too worried about me getting hurt, and that's part of the game. Anything that could happen, I've already made peace with it." And that's important, because if you go in there not sure, you're just going there to get a paycheck, you shouldn't. All right. You should be sure. You should know that you have made peace with it. Again, this is a sport, a combat sport, so anything can happen. Now, this is a very difficult pick. And Jacoby has been more active recently. So I feel like I want to make my pick based on recent activity. But on the other hand, you have Josiah that is, he's like 3 years younger. And his body is healed. His body is healed. And he may come in super hungry. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you here the last wins that Jacoby had. He had 4 wins by KO and 1 by submission. All right. And that's very impressive, guys. That's very impressive. And I'm going to show you right now Josiah that has, a combination of things like submission, unanimous decision, TKO, and some KOs in there. So I would say both of their skill set is pretty lined up to be kind of equal. But I have to go with Jacoby Smith because he's been more active recently, and ring rust is real. If you don't move, or you're not in competition mode, not a lot of people can pull that off. Okay, not a lot. And there's certain people that can do it really well. There's certain people that can't. So I'm gonna go with Jacoby. All right, the next one we got Sergey Spivak, Ante Delija. All right, Sergey 17-6, Ante 26-7. Okay, this is a heavyweight bout. All right, and this is it's a good fight too, because Sergey, he's been doing really well, man. I really enjoy watching him, but he had 2 losses recently. One by against Almeida, and the other one against Cortez, who just fought Black Beast, Derek Lewis. All right, so he lost by unanimous decision, but he is not bad. Like, he is not bad. I'm not sure if he will ever be champion or anything like that. That's I don't think at this point. Because the competition is too strong. Okay, and then you have Ante, who lost against Cortez too. Okay, so that tells you something about Cortez. All right, Cortez from Santo Domingo. Cortez has many kids. Like, if you go to the Joe Rogan one of not Joe Rogan, I forgot what the show with Ariel Hawani, sorry, where Ariel is asking Cortez how many kids you got, and he just kept saying the other one and the other one and the other one. The guy has like 800 kids, but God bless him. God bless him, and hopefully he becomes champion. Take care of all these kids, man. But anyways, Ante also lost to Cortez via by knockout, right? But the 2 fights before Cortez, he won by knockout. So this will be an interesting fight. I'm honestly going to pick I'm gonna pick Ante. I don't know. I may need to wait last minute here to really see what's going on. So yeah, let's keep climbing up here. Yeah, I do see actually that the Neal fight is missing. I'm gonna point that out because that Neal fight is a killer fight. Okay, Neal has been doing really well, but I'll get to that. But next we have Dan Ige versus Costa. I don't know, man. I'm gonna click this fast because I really like Dan Ige, man. Like, Dan Ige 50G. Like, the guy has power. He is the older fighter. But I like Costa too. Costa is a great fighter. He is a great fighter, but I feel like Dan Ige is a bit more technical and a bit more calculated in his fight, yeah, like I said, like, he's the older fighter here. Costa is 29 years old. He's 31. Both of their reach is like equal. What else we got here? Submission. We got Costa as
I'm
more of a
surprised no one
submission.
has
A
obviously asked you
submission.
yet, but
A
what did you make
submission
of Paddy's performance against
situation,
Justin
right? So,
Dog, he
give me 1 second here.
he talks an awful lot of for some of their
Let me
fights
take
like
a
that.
look
You know what I
here.
mean? If the only thing coming out of that fight, the only thing coming out of it is that you got a good chin.
There you go. Something was on my speakers here. But anyways, yeah, Dan Ige, I feel like he's going to pull it off. And I just want to see quickly here who is in that division, okay? Because I'm not sure what his ranking is right now in the UFC. It doesn't. Oh, here. I think he's ranked like 14 or 15. Let's take a look here. Featherweight. So in the featherweight, he's 14. He's 14. So, you know, I think if Dan wins right now, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, he needs to call out somebody like Brian Ortega, okay, or Josh Emmett. Josh is number 11. Brian is 10. I think he needs to try to, yeah, go up there. Or Patricio Pitbull is also a good fight for him. That is also a good fight. Let me actually take a look to see if they already fought. I think they already fought. Yeah, I think they already fought, actually. Yeah, they did. Patricio won that fight. They did. But yeah, if Dan wins right now, like, he needs to try to get some fight up there. Like, I don't know if he can jump, let's say, 2-3 people up there, but you know, if he wins impressively, who knows? Like, if he knocks somebody out, like if he knocks Costa out, like maybe that gives him the opportunity to call out Josh Emmett or something like that, right? Patricio Pitbull, like right now, he needs to look at either Brian Ortega or somebody up there, like Steve Garcia or something. But anyways, I have him to win this fight, and hopefully it's a good fight. Next, we have that is not here. You can't see it here for some reason. It's not here, but we have Geoff Neal versus Uros. Okay. Now I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen a lot of Uros's fights. Like, he's a Serbian fighter. I haven't seen much of his fight, but I have seen Geoff Neal's fight quite a bit. And I'm just going to pull up Uros' record here. He won his last 2 by knockout. And he lost by knockout as well. Let me pull out the whole fight history. So there's a lot of knockout here. This guy must have a lot of power in his hand. So it's going to be an interesting fight because Neal also has a lot of knockout power. Neal is no joke. Okay, so I'm going to show you here. Neal,
pretty much what happened.
He basically lost, I think, his last one with Prates. Okay, Prates is an amazing fighter. All right, Prates, if you don't know, he's the guy that smokes after his fight. I don't know how he does it. But he managed to win. But anyways, he lost against Prates, and before that he fought Dos Anjos, and he won by KO. And before that, he lost against Gary, right? So, Neal is an experienced fighter, and he's a good striker. So he's going to be the shorter guy in this fight. Uros is 6'1", all right, and he's 5'11", so he will need to close those distance and try to maybe fight on the inside, and yeah, see what happens, right? But he needs to win. He definitely needs to win, so he can call out someone
have to watch it back,
out there.
Have a feel for it.
Next, the main event, guys. The main event. All right. So we got Sean Strickland versus Fluffy Hernandez. Okay, but before I give you my prediction, before I even dive into my prediction, I need you to put in the chat, who do you think wins? Okay, put it in the chat if you think Fluffy is going to stop Strickland, or if Strickland is going to stop Fluffy, or if you think they will go distance and it will be by unanimous decision, either or person. Okay, put it in the comments right now, because I'm wrestling with this one. I'm telling you right now, I'm wrestling with this because you cannot just simply say, oh, Fluffy is going to win. Guys, Sean Strickland is a beast, okay? And he fought the best of the best, so you cannot count him out. So, but I'm very curious to see, who do you think wins this fight? Okay? If you look at the record, 29-7, okay, that tells you Sean is pretty experienced. You have Anthony Hernandez, 15 and 2, okay? But Sean Strickland, he's a former champion. This is 5 rounds, and he has cardio for days. So, last he fought against Duplessis, he lost. Before that, he beat Paulo Costa, and before that, Imavov, yes, and then before that, Magomedov, and before that, Adesanya. Now, again, Fluffy also is very impressive, right? Especially if you see how he has been coming up, man. Like, the guy has been putting in the work. Okay, the guy has been putting in the work, and I love his fighting style, man. I love Fluffy's fighting style. He fights to win. He's no joke. Okay, and he also puts the pace. So, and his wins are submissions, unanimous decisions, KOs. So he's a well-rounded fighter. Okay, he's not just a one-trick pony. He's a well-rounded fighter. I have not seen Sean Strickland win by submissions. So it's not his thing. He's a striker. So Sean Strickland need to be careful hitting the ground. Okay? But I'm going to say this. I haven't seen anybody put anything in the chat. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe you're afraid of being wrong. Listen, if you go to my last fights, I was wrong many times, right? And that's the trick of this. Like, it's like, everybody put in their 2 cents and see what happens, right? At the end of the day, these guys are going to go in there and they're going to do their thing. There's anything can happen. Okay, but I feel like Anthony Hernandez may be able to mix. He has to mix it. He has to mix it up, because if he stands with Sean Strickland and Sean Strickland starts to get his rhythm, it's going to be hard, because he's an awkward fighter. He's very awkward. So you won't be able to get to him just like that. Like, you have to mix it up, make him hesitate, make him think. And, Sean is the type to continue to move forward. Now, is it going to be easy for Anthony to take him down? I do not think so. Okay? It's not going to be that easy. But if his technique is sharper in terms of takedown, I think Hernandez need to at least attempt, because it could happen first round and then work his way from there. Because if Sean is down on his back, I think he has a hard time getting back up. Like, his jiu-jitsu is not, I don't think it's the greatest, right? So I think Anthony Hernandez need to kind of like work that in and go for submissions, right? I think if he goes for submissions, it could be a good thing for him. But I'm going to say this here too. I think he has good power. Okay, so that's another thing. So I'm picking Anthony Hernandez. There you have it. My pick is Anthony Hernandez. Now I'm going to say Anthony Hernandez by decision. And the reason I say that is because I think he's going to mix it up. He's going to mix it up very well, and is going to help him win in the judges' eyes, right? You're going to see Sean move forward, but I feel like Sean is going to be more defensive than, be the one attacking. So I'm picking Anthony Hernandez to win this fight. And, once Anthony Hernandez wins, okay, I want to take a look here at their division so I can tell you who is next. I think they have promised him the title if he wins. All right, if he wins, he goes next. But I don't think they have promised him the title. I think I read something on a site that said that, but I don't think the UFC specifically said that. All right, but if you look at the rankings here, all right, the rankings basically, actually, let me save this before I lose it. Okay, I'm gonna save it before I lose it. And yeah, so if you log in ultimatefightpicks.com, okay, you go over here, pick your winners, and you can start selecting the winner. Okay, it closes in 13 hours, so that will be tomorrow sometime. Next, I think they already put Moreno versus Almabayev, all right, which will be in Mexico. And then there's other upcoming events here. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Holloway versus Oliveira. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a good one. And then you have Adesanya versus Pfeiffer. It's also a good one. Anyways, I'm going to transition here to kind of look who is in that division at middleweight. All right, we have like Drakus, Shimaev, who is the champion here. And then we have Imavov, Sean Strickland, Anthony Hernandez. So if Anthony wins, he jumps at ranking number 3. And then, he has two options. Either he calls Imavov and then have another fight, maybe, 2 fights before the belt. Or he calls Duplessis and then they fight. Whoever wins that fights Chimaev for the title. Right? I'm not sure when Chimaev is scheduled to fight. Right now, I believe they have Ramadan or something like that. So I don't think he will be fighting right now. But if he wins, if he beats Sean Strickland tomorrow, I think if I was him, I will call Duplessis, right? And then the winner fights for the belt, right? Unless he beats Strickland like in a crazy fashion. I'm talking knockout or some, fancy, like, how Buckley had his KO kick or something like that. Like something crazy like that. All right. And if he does something like that, then I will say just call out Chimaev right away. Okay. But you have to make it interesting. You have to make a case for it. So, Anthony, I know they're looking at him, to fight for the belt soon. But, is it going to be Chimaev? I don't know. That will be an interesting fight. Chimaev versus Hernandez is like, it's going to be a good fight. All right. We already seen what Gilbert Burns did to Chimaev. So, Anthony, Mexican dude, man, he got that heart. He's not playing. So, yeah. Anyways, tomorrow is going to be UFC Fight Night. Again, Sean Strickland versus Hernandez. I'm picking Hernandez to win. And yeah, drop your prediction, okay, in the comments. And guys, make sure you subscribe. Help a brother out, man. Help a brother out, you know. And yeah, I would truly appreciate it. So tomorrow we may do a fight companion tomorrow. Depends how things go during the day. But I'm for sure watching UFC tomorrow. All right. See you later. Peace.
Fight frenzy. Damn, crazy.